Right, today I'm going to be making Welsh cakes. Today I'm going to be making Welsh cakes. 4 Welsh cakes. I've weighed out my ingredients. You need self-raising flour, 225 grams, 85 grams of caster sugar, 110 grams of salted butter, a handful of sultanas. I've used a large handful because I like sultanas, and an egg, and I might need some milk, so I've got some ready. Right, okay. So, just empty the flour in. I might chunk the butter in actually to make it easier for rubbing in. Obviously you've got to be careful because it's a sharp knife. So rub the butter into the flour like you would for pastry until it resembles fine breadcrumbs. You can edit that, I suppose. Take a bit of a while because the butter is really cold, so we might edit this. Right, I've rubbed the fat into the flour so it resembles breadcrumbs. There are a few lumps, but I don't think that matters. So I'm going to add my sugar and the sultanas and give them a bit of a stir with a knife. Okay, and then crack my egg. Give that a bit of a whisk so it breaks it up a bit. And then add that in. Now you're aiming for a dough. So this is where the milk might have to come in. I've not made this recipe before, so it's new to both of us, or new to all of us. Right, I'm going to add at this point, this I suppose is a dessert spoon. I'm going to add maybe 2 dessert spoons full of milk, because you can add more but you can't take it away. Just going to add 1 more because I think that'll be about right. And then when it starts to look like this, go back in with your hands and draw it together with your fingertips. There, so it makes a soft dough, because you're going to griddle these in a frying pan in a minute. Okay, so you need to lightly flour your work surface and lightly flour your rolling pin, and get your dough which is a nice ball. Now be gentle with it, because you don't want to develop the gluten, you want them to be nice and cakey, not hard. Okay, so keep it moving and roll it out until it's about, let me have a look, about ½ centimetre thick. Okay, you might have to, now I'm rolling this out on granite, but you can use whatever you've got, whatever work surface. Just make sure it's nice and clean and you've got lots of flour on it. Okay, nice and gently. I'm not giving it some, I'm just doing it nice and gently. Okay, now I've got 3 cutter sizes here. You could use fluted ones if you wanted to. I think things will look better with plain ones, and I think I'm going to go for this because I've got a very hungry 22-year-old son and I think he's going to eat loads. So just pat them down like this, give them a twist like that. Whoops. Right, so while I'll just leave that for a minute. While we do this, I'm going to heat a saucepan, a frying pan, with a knob of butter in. Now what I'm going to do is let the butter melt, and then I'm going to wipe out the excess so that we keep this as healthy as possible. Okay, we'll leave that a minute while we carry on doing this. Okay, so I've got, out of my first rolling, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I reckon you should be able to get about 14 Welsh cakes. I suppose this is about 6 centimetres, about my thumb width. 6 or 7 centimetres across, maybe even 5, I don't know. But it's up to you. Obviously the bigger the Welsh cakes, the less you'll get out, or the smaller, the more you'll get out. Okay, so my butter is nicely melted. This is quite a large pan. You can buy proper griddle pans, but I haven't got one, so I'm just going to use the biggest frying pan I've got. And then just I'm going to take it off the heat because butter burns really quickly, while I just wipe around the excess. Put that over there, and then I'm going to put my first Welsh cake on very, very carefully so as I don't burn my hands. Now they should take about 2 to 3 minutes each side. There we go. Right, and while they're cooking, I'll just gently, very, very gently, scrabble the offcuts together and roll them out with a little bit more flour. And cut out some more. Not very level. So they're ready to go, and I reckon I might get another couple out of here. Perhaps one. There we go. And then that one can be cook's privilege in a minute. Right, there we go. Okay, so we'll turn these over now. They're starting to smoke, but don't be alarmed, I'm sure they'll be fine. Turn it down just a little bit. So these have taken less than 2 or 3 minutes. And turn them right down. Starting to smoke a bit. Okay, so I've turned them over, as you can see. I turned them over once more, so they've had 2 on one side and 1 on the other, and they're done. They feel done, okay? If you touch them gently, they're quite firm, but give a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put them on here to cool. And now they are best eaten warm, but these are obviously a bit hot at the minute. Okay, I'm going to put my second batch in because there's enough grease in the bottom, enough butter in the bottom to stop them from sticking. Okay, so that one's a bit rubbish. Once they're done, once they've cooled down a little bit, I'm going to dust them with icing sugar, or actually caster sugar. And we should be okay, ready to go. Right, these are my finished Welsh cakes. I've put them on a cooling rack. They're just warm now. It says on the recipe that they're best off eaten warm. So I've got 2 hungry volunteers behind the camera that are going to do that in a minute. I'm just going to line them up on there. and just sprinkle some caster sugar on the top. You don't need to do this, they're plenty sweet enough. You could maybe add some cinnamon to the sugar, you could split them and add jam, just eat them however you want to. But I think eating them warm would be a good idea. I just want to show you the middle of my cook's privilege, which was a squiggly one. So they're really quite soft and doughy, and I'm looking forward to trying them. Welsh cakes.